I love focusing on God, just focusing on God. I love going away and just looking at God. Yesterday I was down at the foreshore Pokemoning, and I went down to the foreshore and I sat. And I sat in just this peace and the sunshine, and I just looked for God, and I was found there, and the peace just came over my life. It was just wonderful. And that's actually what God calls us to do, isn't it? To actually look for him. There was this time when the Israelites were under the pressure of the Assyrian army, and there was this prophet who prophet Isaiah, and he spoke the words of God, and he said this: "For this is what the Lord says, let all the world look to me for salvation, for I am God, there is no other." And I often find that I can get weighed down with the issues of life. That I can focus on the things that I'm going through, and I can get worried, and I can get stressed, and I can get concerned and burdened. And there's times when we all can become, inward looking and just look at ourselves and focus on ourselves. And that's not a healthy spot. Are people with me in this? Sometimes you can just focus on whatever you're going through, and it's not what God calls us to do. I believe in times like that when we're in our darkest times, we're in our heaviest times, that he calls us to look up to him, to the one who created us and who is much, much, much bigger than us. Have you ever been away from the city lights and all lights and just looked up into space and just seen how amazing the universe is? Yeah? I love those times. Looking up makes me feel smaller than I already am. It covers me in this sense of awe and reminds me that God is much, much bigger than my day-to-day worries. Actually, Psalm 19 is one of my favourite psalms. We read it just then, and it says this: "The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hands. Day after day they pour forth speech. Night after night they reveal knowledge. They have no speech, they use no words, no sound is heard from them. Yet their voice goes out into all the earth, their words to the ends of the world. The heavens declare the glory of God." Look at this picture up on your screen. This is called the pillars of creation. On this side, you see what's visible. If you just look through a telescope, that's what's visible. And then this is the infrared, and look at all the stars behind it. These pillars of creation hold all the ingredients within them to create new stars and new planets. And they're just a big creative space. And they stretch like mighty fingers 4 light years into space. Now, a light year is how fast light travels in a whole entire year. And these stretch out 4 light years into space. It's beyond my comprehension. It's unimaginable. The universe just fills me with wonder. So I want to look at that together today. It's a bit of a passion of mine. Because I believe that as we look to the universe, our focus changes. That our minds are opened up to the magnificence and the splendor and the wonder and the majesty and the power of God. The universe that God created is so overwhelming and unimaginable that we actually need to start with what we know. So I need 2 helpers. Can I have 2 helpers? Anyone's going to help me. No one's going to help me today. Here we go. Hazel's going to help me. Excellent. Please welcome Hazel. Coming up. Please hold that up for everyone to see. This is the Earth. This 7.6 centimetre softball represents the Earth, which is about 2,500 kilometres in diameter. It's going to be up there, thanks, Jared. 7.6 centimetres, 12,500 kilometres in diameter. This bocce ball, which is at 2.5 centimetres, represents the moon, and it's 3,500 kilometres wide. At this scale, how far should the moon be from the Earth? Tell me whether I should go closer or further away. There? Oh, do we have a consensus? Oh, you're turning? Okay. Do I stop here? Is it about there? Have you ever looked at the moon and just gone, that is huge? It's massive. So about here, do we think? No. Further. You reckon further? Closer or further? No. The moon is actually 384,000 kilometres away from the Earth. At our scale, Callum, can you come up here and reach into my bag and get out the little green measuring tape? And can you measure out 2.3 metres? So get Hazel to hold on to this one here. 2.3 metres away. That's 1, 2, 2.3 metres away. That's how far away the moon is from the Earth in actuality. Isn't that amazing? Did you? I think that's wonderful. Okay, you can drop that down now. 2.3 metres away, and just stay there. That's how far away the moon is from the Earth. And yet it looks so huge sometimes at night. It's incredible. It is. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, Hazel. That's wonderful. You actually, between here and there, 30 Earths would fit between the moon and the Earth. Is it what you expected? No. Our God is so much greater than our expectations. Let's consider the sun. If the sun were hollow, more than 1 million Earths would fit inside. And on this scale, if the Earth was here, the sun would be down at the Forum. And that's only the beginning of our universe. If that scale of this is too big to keep exploring our universe with, so we need to make the sun, that 8-metre sun, we need to make it a lot smaller. Here it is. Here's our sun. Let's shrink that 8-metre squared sun, that huge sun that's down at the Forum, down to the size of this ball. Now, our solar system is the sun and everything that rotates around it. And so that's 8 planets and about 5 dwarf planets and about over 200 moons all circling the sun. And at this size, if I just put the sun here, there he is. The Earth, the Earth is about the size of the ball in the tip of this ballpoint pen. And it's 15 metres away from the sun, which is out in the foyer. So Callum, can you go and take this pen and just put it out in the foyer, on the table in the foyer for us? The furthest planet away in our solar system is Neptune, which would be down at the traffic lights, down the end of Lakes Road. That is our solar system. From here to the intersection, and we live on that ballpoint pen out in the foyer. You can leave it out there, mate. That's good. Now, our sun is just one of the stars in the Milky Way galaxy. Scientists have located another star called the IRS 65, and they say that if this was our sun, IRS 65 would be bigger than Mount Everest compared to this. The universe is huge. Scientists used to believe there were about 6,000 stars in our universe. And now, because of technology, they now believe that there's more stars in the universe than there are grains of sand on all the world's beaches and all the world's deserts. Imagine our solar system. From here down to the intersection. And now double it. So there's 2 of them. So can you imagine from here down to the intersection, double that. And then put 10 together. And then 10 of those solar systems. And then put 100 of those solar systems. And then 1,000, and then 1,000,000, and then 1,000,000,000 of these solar systems. And with some stars as big as Mount Everest. Because there are hundreds of billions of stars in our own Milky Way galaxy. And that is just one galaxy. Here's another galaxy. It's known as the Andromeda Galaxy. And it's made up of billions and billions and billions of stars. See all those white specks on there? See on here all these white specks? This is not part of the Andromeda Galaxy. The Andromeda Galaxy is the white cloud made up of billions and billions and billions of stars. This here is another galaxy. And there are billions. There are over 200 billion galaxies in the known universe. And each is made up of hundreds of billions of stars that we don't even know the names of. And around those stars are untold numbers of planets. The universe is huge, and our God is great. On a good night, we can see about 2,000 stars, which is wonderful. But here's what Job says about that. These are but the outer fringes of works. How faint the whisper we hear of him. Who can understand the thunder of his power? Job goes on to say this. God alone stretches out the heavens and treads on the waves of the sea. He is the maker of the Bear and Orion, the Pleiades and constellations of the south. He performs wonders that cannot be fathomed, miracles that cannot be counted. This is our God. And when I look at the universe, my head is just filled with wonder and my heart is in awe. And what overwhelms me is not the things that I know about, but the things that I don't even know about yet. The things that are out there that God still hasn't shown to us. And as we get more and more advanced telescopes and we see further and further into the universe, we see that God has created abundantly more than we will ever know. And that blows my mind. Why would God create stretches of the universe that will never be seen? Why create billions of other galaxies out there that we can't even see and simply look like stars to us? Why create so much extra? I think the answer is because he wants to reveal himself to us. And as we look into space, the universe reveals his character. The heavens declare the glory of God. Night after night they pour forth speech. We have a big God who holds billions of galaxies in the palm of his hand. We have an extravagant God that can do so much more than we can ever hope for or imagine. We have a creative God, one who created galaxies and stars and planets and black holes and dark matter and nebulas. He is a God of wonder. He is unimaginably glorious and beyond the powers of our description. How great is our God? We need to expand our mind and refill our spirit with a new sense of the grandeur and the awesomeness of God. We can't just put God in a little box and say, this is God, because God is so much bigger and grander and more powerful and amazing, more than we can ever put into words. This is the God that we worship. Romans 1 says this, since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from his workmanship, so that we are without excuse. As we look up to the cosmos, our minds are opened up to the magnificence and the splendor and the wonder and the majesty of our Creator God. And our temporal problems that we're facing day to day shrink in the light of his glory. If God has the power to sustain a universe, billions of galaxies in the known universe, his power is more than sufficient for your daily living and any tough times and trials that you face. As the universe is infinite, so is his great love for you. Let me tell you this morning. You are insignificant. You don't hear that much from the platform. But you're not even a dot on the top of a ballpoint pen. But God, the Lord of all creation, not only knows you, but he loves you, he adores you, and he has a plan and a purpose for your life. And like his universe, his plans are bigger and more unimaginable than you know. Through his mighty cosmos creating power, God can accomplish infinitely more than we might ever ask or think in and through your life. This is our God. Our God is greater, stronger, more powerful than any other. I started with a quote, with a verse from Isaiah. Well, the rest of it says this, Isaiah 45. For the Lord is God, and he created the heavens and the earth and put everything in its place. And then God said, let all the world look to me for salvation. For I am God, there is no other. Every knee will bow, and every tongue will confess that I am God. The people will declare the Lord is the source of all my righteousness and strength. I hope that you declare that God is the source of your righteousness and strength today. If you're feeling weak, he is the source of your strength. If you're not feeling pure, he is the source of your righteousness.